Hello friends, how are you? Let's just jump right in so I can show you some examples of how I have fun in my sketchbook. So my first idea is to write down a silly little poem that you make up right on the spot. No matter how stupid or weird it is, take like a minute tops. Just write something down and then illustrate it. So I think what I came up with that day was, my farts smell bad, they make others sad. But it's alright. Because if we're being sappy, they make me very happy. And then I just decided I was gonna illustrate myself and my fart holding hands, and then maybe some faces around me that were quite unhappy with the scene in front of them. You know, it's not exactly the best drawing I've ever made. I didn't look up references. I just wanted to, again, have fun. And I find that I really need to schedule these sort of fun times into my sketchbook time, because I get so like neurotic and I overthink everything. And if I don't take the time to make positive associations with my like drawing time and my art and my sketchbooks, I just get very down over time. So having these moments where you just force yourself to be as silly or as stupid or, just draw as shitty as you can, it really does feel nice. Over time, you see a really positive improvement in how you associate, your feelings with the sketchbook time. Anyways, this is how it turned out. I added some cute little flowers and some little like doodles with more markers and like a border around me, I guess, and my fart. Okay, let's move on. So my next idea is to do a plein air, which just means going outside and drawing, out in the open what's in front of you. And normally I'll usually go for flowers or plants just because they make me quite happy, and I'm always fascinated with how plants look. But those sketches tend to be a bit boring. So my suggestion would be to, after you do line art or the sketch, to color it in a really like illustrative or fun way, or add little like tiny little illustrations that make you happy. So I added some bees that are flying around. One of them is even saying hi. And I colored the plants very bright, and it makes it look less, boring and, just observational and more like fun, and it's cute to look at after. Okay, so the next idea is to do a tea or coffee pour. I know this isn't like a revolutionary idea, it's been done many times before, but I think it's really fun to bring in elements outside of, your little art corner or your art supplies, and just experiment with different things and think about how you can use so many other things that we have in our daily lives as art supplies. So my original plan was to do a black tea pour and do it in many different layers. But yeah, no, that didn't work out because it was taking forever to dry. I even used a cloth to try and soak up some of the tea. And then I brought in my blow dryer, and it was taking forever. So I quickly realized that doing many layers was not going to work out, even if it would look really pretty. Plus the paper was not handling the water well anyways. So normally what I planned to do was to trace the different layers and kind of make like a cool sort of interesting just abstract design, but since I didn't have a lot of lines, I decided to read the shapes. And what I kind of saw in those shapes was a window sort of in the back, and then I saw a shape of a woman, and then I saw kind of another kind of bar right underneath, and I thought, okay, well, this could be like a ballerina right at the bar. So that's what I went with, and my skills with anatomy just aren't really quite there yet, so I was starting to really overthink it, and then I said, you know what, screw it, I'm just gonna go for it. It's not the most structurally sound ballerina, but that's all right. now. I also brought in a brush and tried to take some of the tea and add some shadows on the ballerina, but it really wasn't doing anything, so I went in with a watercolor pencil. I only have like 2 colors that I randomly found in a box, so orange was like the closest that I could, use, and I mean, I guess I kind of did something. I don't know. I was playing around with it. I tried not to overthink it too much. It was taking forever to dry, so I'm going to show you at the end of the video what it ended up looking like when it was dry. But this is how it looked after I was done with the watercolor pencil. It's okay, it's cute. I could redraw it again later with watercolor. I like the idea, and I'll revisit it when I'm better with anatomy, I think. Okay, moving on to the 4th idea. So for this one, I decided to use my hands, and I took out my Gansai Tambi watercolors and I wet some of the paints because I knew that they have really nice sort of moist, moist is a weird word, but the pans re-wet really nicely, so I just put a few drops of water and then I went in with my thumb and I did stamps of my thumb in different areas of the page with different colors. I don't know how safe this is, so proceed at your own risk. I know that paints can be toxic, so I washed my hands really fast after I was done, but whatever. And again, using your hands is just, it feels a little bit like you're a kid and you're like finger painting, and it's just like a break from your routine. It feels a little bit silly, feels a little bit funny, so I went for it. And then on top of those thumbprints, I just did little characters, little faces. I'm in the process of practicing how I want to illustrate my characters, and especially the faces, and so this was perfect. I needed to practice anyways, and I wanted to have some fun. And yeah, it doesn't look like much, but it's still practice, and I still learned a couple little things, and I had some fun. Okay, so this brings me to the very last idea, and that is to use your non-dominant hand. Again, pretty silly, not revolutionary, but I think it's a really good way to, again, have fun and to think about just how much skill that you've built in your dominant hand. So I started with my left, and I drew just this model that I found on Pinterest, and then I went in with my right hand, my dominant hand. I used a black and I drew the same girl just with more skill. And it was kind of a cool side by side, and it also made me appreciate how much more my right hand can do. And again, it's just skill that's built up over time, whether that be in art or not. My right arm just has a lot more skill because I've used it all my life, and my left is just kind of there like a useless potato. So yeah, I really liked how this one turned out, and not only was it fun, but it's actually quite pretty to look at. I thought it was a good idea to use the tan sketchbook and also use 2 opposing colors. And yeah, this is the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. I really have fun making these sort of videos, and I'm constantly thinking about new sketchbook ideas. So let me know if you liked anything that I showed today, and I'll see you next time. Bye!